Hi, Mark Robertson, and welcome to my site, Carrying Lawn Chairs. It's named after my book, Carrying Lawn Chairs, Youth Sports, and Other Parental Mindsets. You can get it on Amazon under the book section. It doesn't come up in the general browse, but it's $2.99 for the electronic book and just under $10 for the paperback book. And the book is divided into two parts. The first part deals with all the problems I have with organized youth sports for kids 12 and under. And it's about the parents. The kids aren't having fun. It's dysfunctional. They get confused because the parents want them there and they don't want to be there. So they are at an age where most of them largely care about the love of their parents, and they do it, but then they get confused. Why would their parents want them to do something that is just not fun at all? And it's about the parents. It's about the future. It's never about enjoying the present, although at the games they want to win them and they are so excited about that. But it's thinking, oh, we got to get them started early, or they'll never be in high school or college or pro or the Hall of Fame or whatever. It's nonsense. Kids need a period of their life where they have free play, and organized sports is not free play. It's the opposite of it. It squashes free play. And so many adults try to make it sound good and try to legitimize it, but it's not good for kids, in my opinion. And I know that's controversial, but that's what I stand for. And the second part of the book deals with all sorts of other issues related to young people and all the things they face from largely adults pushing garbage onto them, perversion, and all sorts of other things, and drugs, and all sorts of obstacles that young people face. Today, we're going to talk about young people and sports. Recently, the World Cup was here in the United States, and Canada, and Mexico, and it was largely a success here in the United States. I watched a number of the games, and it was exciting, and the people from the other countries loved it here. A lot of them didn't even want to go back to their home countries, and we take a lot for granted here, our freedoms still, but even though we have people in this country trying to take those freedoms away, it's still a strong and great country. And but it would seem like a good, wholesome entertainment, and it was basically. Families could watch it, and there were all sorts of watch parties all around. The people from the countries, including and people from the United States, joining in watching it, because we're not a big soccer country here overall, although there are pockets of it, and a lot of young kids play soccer. And again, I'm against that for kids 12 and under. Let them play kickball in the backyard. Oh, well, they're not going to ever make it if they don't. They got to start young because that'll get them behind. No, it won't. It'll probably get them ahead. They won't get burnt out. The study done that kids start in organized youth sports, and by age 13, about 70% of them don't play it anymore. Okay? They're not having fun. It's so obvious, and it's about the parents. And it all seems so normal. You have a little baseball team with all the kids in uniforms and they're at each position like the major leagues. They're not little adults, okay? They're not little adults. Let them play pickup games. The fathers can play along. That's how they learn how to play, if you want them to learn how to play. We keep saying and talking about Yogi Berra. He was against organized Little League sports. He said you learn how to play better on the sandlots, where he learned how to play, and he's got 10 World Series rings. But we're talking about the World Cup. And there's a video out there put out by ESPN, and it's the dark side of the World Cup, I guess you would call it. It's about Argentina. And Argentina won the World Cup in 2022, and they were the runner-up this time to Spain. It's like a religion down there. And when they won in 2022, I've seen pictures. There were easily millions of people in the streets in, I guess, Buenos Aires, celebrating the win. These people were like gods to them, and soccer is a religion to them. I like sports, but it shouldn't get to that degree. And but this video that ESPN did is called "The Dream Factory: Inside the Cruel System Behind Argentina's Soccer Empire." Now, Argentina is a poor and largely corrupt country. Many people there live in squalor, and they don't have much joy in life. So they watch Argentina's soccer and it brings them some joy. And these leaders there are largely worthless. Although the one now, Milei, he is very good. But in the past, it's not been good. But the one they have right now is a Trump-type leader. And anyway, but this system goes way back. This soccer in Argentina is, like I say, it's been a religion for the longest of time. And I'm not an expert on soccer, but this video shows the story of these kids, and they have these dreams. They're living in poor areas, and they see Messi making $100 million a year, and they think they can do it. And so they have this place in Argentina, and some of these kids go for hundreds of miles. Argentina is a large country, and they go away from their parents for a long period of time, and it's tough on them, but they have the dream of being on the national soccer team and making soccer a career. And they are taken advantage of in many ways. This is an abusive system. This video talked about a group of them were sexually abused. These kids don't have much money at all, so who knows what they were paid. And they were investigating this now, and I don't know what became of it. They don't really report that, but it was found out, and they say that's been happening over a long period of time as well. But then these kids, they have one place where they have tens of thousands of people that want to be a part of this one group. And there's a group of, I believe it was about 20 or 30 that they pick, and they let them stay at this place, at this field underneath the stands. There's like dormitories there, but they're not impressive at all. Even that place is not a good place to live. But what happens to the rest of them? Well, they still want to get their dream of playing professional soccer. So they go to these places called pensions, and people that own these pensions see them coming. They lie to them and say, "Oh, you got a great shot, of making it in soccer. And if you stay here, they pay us." But they're totally run down places that it makes slumlords look good, and they're abusing these kids by that. And then they had a system where they actually adopted these kids, these owners of these pensions or slumlords. So then, evidently, if one of them was to be a great player, these owners of these pensions could profit from that. And it is so much about money and greed and evil. What they're doing to these kids, they've got this dream, so we can take advantage of it and take advantage of these kids, and some of them were even sexually abused. And it's just really a bad situation. It all looks so glorious with Argentina, a powerhouse in world soccer. And from what I understand, they have been for a long time. And but then you have this and what goes on behind the scenes. And they, like I say, are a poor country, and these leaders of these countries are awful. They, other than Milieu right now, but they've been awful. And he's trying to change it around. He's being successful, and he's being supported by the United States. But hopefully he can do something about this, because this report on ESPN exposes it. And they play these kids, even the 20 that they pick, none of them get pay. They all have to, I guess the group of 20 to 30 get their meals and lodging covered, but they get no pay. So they're there, and their parents most of the time are poor, and it's really a sad situation of what these kids go through, and just maybe to make their dream. They showed video of the winning team on buses in 2022, and the voice of the program, the announcer, he was from ESPN, but he spoke Spanish as well, and he said most of those guys on those buses went through this pension system, and where these kids were taken advantage of in many ways. These corrupt owners of these pensions, they lie to the kids, and then the kids go on camera and say, "Oh, it's a great place." Well, it's not. It's a lot of times they didn't even have water, and the sewage was a mess, and the rooms were a mess. It just wasn't good. And but It's about that dream. It's about that World Cup. I don't know what goes on in other countries. I haven't seen a video of those countries. It may be similar. But in Argentina, soccer is, like I say, a god. It's a religion. And these kids, they might have their little TVs back in wherever they live in some sort of poor village, and they see this and they have a dream of playing on that soccer field. And that dream, they'll put up with all sorts of hardships to get that dream. They followed a couple guys, and they actually made the pro ranks, but one of them was like in the minor leagues making about $500 a month. And the other one, I don't know what he made, but he signed up for more of a pro contract. I guess there are a number of pro teams there, and just, of course, one World Cup team is probably like an all-star team. So they did make it, but I still think after that they were indebted to these slumlords, these pension owners, and how they were attached to them. They were talking about that, and they talked to some attorneys that were there, and they were pointing out the problems, and they talked to a sociologist. It's bad for these kids, and soccer is an escapism for the people who live in poverty, and it's why it's so big there. Now, thankfully, hopefully things are changing in Argentina with a great leader, but it really was an abusive system and may still well be. Hopefully Milieu will look into it and see what's actually happening. And this is a story that's not necessarily the United States, but it's not one that you would right now have in the United States. But oftentimes the mindset is very similar. They want these kids. It's not about the kids. It's about the parents and their dreams. Whereas down there, actually in Argentina, it did seem to be these kids' dreams. And the mom was there. They interviewed her, and she was really happy that he was following his dream. But then they had another parent there that went into these pensions, and they took their son home. It was just the dream didn't last, and it's such just evil what they go through to try to be a professional soccer player in Argentina. And they start scouting these kids. We did that story on Norway a few months back after the Winter Olympics, and how there it's just the opposite. They don't put kids into anything until they're 13. They let kids just free play. And then some have a natural affinity towards certain sports. And then they see someone that might have that. They'll take them if they want to train them. It is a government setup, so that's not the greatest. But anyway, Norway is one of the strongest countries ever in the Winter Olympics, even though they have just 5 million people living there. So that is a great way to do sports. Let the kids go out with their families. They get little ski jumps there if they like that, or if they skate, or if they speed skate, or they cross-country ski. They can do that, and they just kind of see what they are attracted to. Some of them might not be attracted to anything. And the worst that could happen is you not get picked, but you have a joyful childhood playing in the snow. So, but it's not that in Argentina. It's just the opposite of that. It was really eye-opening, but it really wasn't surprising. You hear about these South American countries with poverty and corruption, and there's corruption in this soccer system, and it's really an abuse situation, not just the sexual abuse we talked about, but abusive to their minds, their spirit, and but some of them make it, and they say, well, we went through a lot of hardship, but it was worth it. But it definitely should not be this way. And in this country, the mindset is it's not about the kids. Again, it's about getting them started early, getting a good shot to be in high school, college, and pro sports, because for some reason parents think that's important, whether the kid wants to or not. And I say don't even put them in organized sports before age 12. But there's a lot of people who make a lot of money on organized youth sports for kids. The free market's fine. I have no problem with that. But a lot of places sell the false hope. If you can be a major leaguer, come to our camp, or come to buy this gizmo. Or, of course, all these leagues have uniforms and umpires and all this other stuff that they make money on. And it's like the high schools as well. And I don't have anything. I'm not against high school sports. I'm just against sports for 12 and under. organized sports. I like sports. It's not life and death to me. I enjoy watching it. If the team wins, that's great. If they don't, well, I go on to do something else that day. But it's so inculcated in our society. I mean, these travel teams, these parents travel with their kids. They spend big money. They all think their kids going to make the major leagues, and that's fine. But it has to be more. These kids don't enjoy this travel. Again, we talk about great Major League Baseball players. They didn't do this, but parents think. And then the travel baseball, all the hotels they stay at, the gas and everything else, and it's big money there too. And all the equipment that they sell, the uniforms, and these stadiums that they rent out. I don't know the whole situation, but travel sports to me, that's almost a form of abuse for kids 12 and under. They don't like it. The kids don't like travel ball. But the parents are like blinded. They are so focused that this has to do this, and our kid has to be a great athlete. It's like automatic pilot on these parents. And so, no, this isn't Argentina, but there are many problems here as well. And the kids aren't having fun, and we see so many problems with so many kids. It's either bad parenting or no father. It's a pretty dire situation. And this is like pouring gasoline on the fire. That you take them there and you want them to perform, and even parents who are well-to-do, the kid sees that, it's all about me and my performance and not just me. And fine, if they like playing sports, if you do it for them, if they want to do it for them, fine. The parents should be the encourager, whatever direction they go. Now, there are boundaries. You can't go in any direction. But and you can't sit in the room and play on the phone all day. Parenting's not easy, but a lot of parents, it's not about the young person. It's about them, their self-worth. I mean, I've heard a story that a lot of parents want their kids to graduate from college so the parents can tell other people that their kid graduated from college. There's so much of that goes on. So many people are directed by what others think. I'm guilty of that myself. I'm a lot better now. But that seems to have a grip on so many. And that doesn't mean you can't be considerate of others or be friendly to others, and you can't just be a person who doesn't care about others. But so many are entrapped by that, and they're trying to impress the neighbor next door, our $75,000 vehicle. Nothing wrong with $75,000 vehicles if you can afford them. But the motives are just crazy. In South America and Argentina, they were corrupt and they were evil. And they went to degrees that harmed these kids. And then they lied to the kids. And that some of them were put into sexual abuse situations that they say have been going back for a long time. And but then you have the bright shining lights of Argentina soccer. And they won 4 years ago, and they almost did this time. They lost by 1 goal, 1-0 in the final game. And so that's a problem. But I'm mainly talking about the mindset. No, that hasn't hit America that we know of yet. But the mindset is there. It's not about the kids. It's all about the down the road, that they can be stars here or stars there. It's not about going out this afternoon and having fun playing a baseball game. And the parents are in the stands screaming. And I'm not a psychologist, but that says so much. So many parents are on edge that their child has to do good, or it's crazy. It is just, organized sports is crazy for kids. And it's a minority opinion, but I that's my opinion. And I've seen it, I've worked in it, and kids can be just as successful if they don't play organized sports and they want to play when they're 12 or 13. Well, how are they going to learn? They can go play pickup games. That's where you really learn. As Yogi Berra keeps, as I point out, he says he's against Little League baseball. Thinks kids should play on the sandlot. That's where they learn to play. That's where they have fun. And that's where they want to play. They don't want to play organized sports in their uniforms like little adults, because they're not little adults. And that's where they are. I just hope our country never gets to the point of Argentina, and these kids will do anything to be on the national soccer team or even in professional soccer. And it really is a dark side of the sport. That you can check that. The video's online. It's on YouTube. It's called The Dream Factory: Inside the Cruel System Behind Argentina's Soccer Empire. And these kids, it's not a good situation. And the kids, you just feel for them because they really don't have much at home. They probably come from a poor area, and then they get abused in many ways when they get to an area where they're using the dream of being on the national soccer team or even in pro soccer to lure them there, and they take advantage of them in many ways. And it's about the money and even the sexual abuse. It's just so evil, and it's what it can lead to, though. And it's not even about these people. And these pensions aren't even about winning soccer. It's all about using these kids. And in a way, in this country, these kids that play Little League sports are used as well by the parents, by the people who sell the equipment, it's not good. And people think, oh, it's almost sacrilegious to say you're talking against Little League baseball. Yes, I am. I don't think it's a good invention. The Little League World Series is you talk about money making. That's on ESPN. And they got these 12-year-olds. Very few who make the major leagues, and they're there with all the spotlight and the pressure to perform, and they're afraid to make mistakes because they're on national TV. Their parents, their relatives, their friends are all in the stands screaming, and in my opinion, that is dysfunction. It's dysfunction for 12-year-olds to do that. It's even tough for people in their 20s. There's all sorts of people who say there's so much pressure in Major League Sports to perform because there's so much money on the line. And it's tough on them. Some have dealt with mental issues because of the stress. And so we can imagine what it is to a 12-year-old now all of a sudden on national TV, and it's not a good situation. And people are taking advantage of it, and they're using these kids and these adults as the managers. Boy, this is the dream of their life, and it's not about the kids. It all sounds so great, but in my opinion, it's not. So, just another point of view that you might check out that video, and it's like I say, you can watch it on YouTube and see about a really dire situation in another country, and hope it doesn't hit us. So we thank you for joining us on Carrying Lawn Chairs. We'll see you next time.